Hi class, this is week 3, assignment 6. This is the final version of the speech that we gave the other day. My speech was about introducing the courtroom actors for the trial process. Before I can continue explaining about the trial process, I have to introduce some of the main courtroom actors to you. If you guys watched my speeches the other day, you'll notice that some of these characters have changed, and that's because I had to pack up everything. I'm moving right now. So this is what's left in my house, so I decided to use these figurines instead. This is the judge. This is going to be my prosecutor. This is going to be the jury next to the prosecutor over here. This is the defense attorney, and this is the defendant, or the person who's actually on trial. Now, the first courtroom actor I want to introduce you all to is the judge. A lot of people think that the judge is the most powerful courtroom actor, but this is not true. The judge's main job is to actually oversee all the other courtroom actors and make sure that they follow the laws in the state where the trial is taking place. The next courtroom actor I'm going to introduce you to is the prosecutor. A lot of people don't know this, but the prosecutor is actually the most powerful courtroom actor. The first reason that he's the most powerful courtroom actor is because he's actually bringing charges against the defendant for the state. This is important because, as constituents, me and you, the voters, we want our states to be tough on crime. And the prosecutor plays the primary role in making that happen. The more wins that he gets in his cases against defendants that the police have arrested, the more tough it makes our state look on crime. Another reason he's the most powerful courtroom actor is because in winning these cases, he actually gets to decide. He usually gets to decide what sentences will be imposed on the defendants in the plea bargaining process, which I'll explain later. The next courtroom actor I want to introduce you to is the defense attorney. A lot of people think that the defense attorney has to go into the courtroom and prove that the defendants are innocent, but that's pretty impossible if you had to do that every time, because there's so much evidence against defendants, and usually the prosecutor has the case in the bag. The defense attorney's primary role, instead, is to create reasonable doubt in the prosecutor's case. So the prosecutor brings his case to the jury and to the judge, and the defense attorney's job is to make it seem like there's holes in that case. The next courtroom actor I'm going to introduce you to is the jury. The jury's primary job is to actually listen to both sides in a way that's described as impartial. Impartial actually means not partial to or without bias. So the courtroom has to be really careful about who they select to be the jury members. There's actually a whole process that they go through to select jury members that are not biased, and we'll get to that later in the speech. The next courtroom actor is the defendant himself. Now, the defendant doesn't actually have a defined role in the courtroom, but it's highly advisable that he cooperate with all the other courtroom actors because it affects the outcome of his case later on. For example, the jury's going to be deciding whether or not he's innocent or guilty. So it's best if he looks up to the judge and says, yes, sir, no, sir, and when he's on the bench giving his testimony about what happened in the case, that he is very polite and courteous to both the prosecutor and his own attorney. It's also important because the judge is going to decide his sentence later. Although the judge is not the most powerful courtroom actor, he can accept or deny the prosecutor's plea bargains. So it's best to look really good in front of the judge if you're ever a defendant, because once you're decided guilty in a case, he has the final say on what's going to happen to you if you're convicted. All right, the next part of my speech will be later on this week. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I hope it was informative, and I look forward to your feedback.